Well, well, well. It looks like the rumors were true, y'all. It seems like we've been waiting with bated breath almost all year to see this collection come to light. And after months and months of waiting, Nintendo has finally pulled the curtains back on the Mario 3D All-Stars collection, as well as a metric ton of other stuff via the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Direct, which premiered just this past week. Now, there's a lot to unpack here, and we've got a pretty stacked group of folks here to help me talk about it all. All right, so first up on our roster here, we have NintendoFanGirl.
Oh, hello.
Hey! And up next, we've got Proxence.
Hello there, how's it going?
Hello. And we've also got our friend David.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Now, is it David or David?
Casually I go by David, but you can call me David if you want to. Cause you're awesome, you can call me David.
All right, sweet. And we've also got PushDustIn.
Hi.
And lastly, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Stealth 40K.
Hey everyone.
Fantastic. All right, so to start things off, I want to go ahead and make our way around the group and ask everyone, starting with you, Stealth, what did you think of the presentation as a whole, and what was your big highlight?
Overall, I thought the presentation was actually very good. Each announcement was well paced. You know, nothing felt like it was going on for too long. And my biggest kind of must-have items were definitely Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury and Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
Man, 3D All-Stars is going to be so sick. Oh my god. All right, what about you, Dustin? PushDustIn.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I agree with Stealth that it was really well paced. It's just kind of disappointing that Nintendo kind of just dropped it, even if like a lot of people were expecting it, because I think it would have been really nice to have more live reactions to the presentation. But overall, I was blown away by the tech in Home Circuit. I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah.
Even if I'm not gonna, even if I won't be playing it, I thought this is really exciting for toys in general.
Yeah. We'll be taking a deep dive into that here in the next few minutes. Proxence, what do you think?
So I'm going to agree with PushDustIn that it was very unexpected, and they could have built up to it a little better. I know people expected the Direct to some extent, but it was very oh, okay, it's happening now. And I know that trying to do a reaction for it was kind of unfeasible, because I was well, this is very out of the blue, so I can't plan for that. But it was a really good Direct, and it really highlighted a lot of awesome things. And I have to say, the best thing from it, I'm going to be a little different here, it was the Game & Watch. Because in no way, shape, or form did I think they were going to do a physical Game & Watch ever. But they did.
Yeah, that actually blew me away.
Cool.
It's still kind of crazy to me that it's actually its own little console. Only $50 too. And
it's got a color screen.
Oh yeah, wow, that would have blown us away when that originally came out. Not that I was wondering or anything, but. And NintendoFanGirl, go ahead.
Sure. Overall, just completely ecstatic over the entire Direct. I love whenever they manage to fit enough stuff in that it feels like they, at some point, are just kind of rattling things off, which they had at a point in this Direct. And for me, my excitement is mostly centered around 3D All-Stars. No matter how much we knew it was coming, it was still really exciting to see.
Yeah, those rumors have been going
and exciting to get, hopefully, very, very soon.
Oh, please. Yeah, I know. It's crazy that it's coming out in 2 weeks.
I know.
2 weeks. Oh my god. Yeah, and I feel like those rumors have been floating around pretty much all year, so we were all just kind of waiting and expecting and waiting some more. And then lastly, you, David, what did you think?
Yeah, I am in the camp as well, where them shadow dropping it at 8 in the morning when I was on my way actually out of my house to do my morning workout. And I checked my phone and I saw a tweet and I was like, you're lying to me, not right now. So I had to immediately U-turn back into my house and then just be like, I gotta record this. So I had to just watch that whole Direct that happened. But yeah, I kind of like how Nintendo is taking a different approach with the really important stuff, and they don't say anything to set no expectations, and then they just drop it. But then with everything else, they're like, hey, There's not going to be anything super crazy in this direct, so we're going to let you know that now. But everything else, they just toss it out into the ether and then let the masses react to it. But then in terms of what my favorite thing of the whole show was, of course, 3D All-Stars. But then Mario 35 looks pretty dope. Like, I don't play Tetris 99, but Mario 35, that's where I'm going to be.
Man,
so that's
great. Never mind. I'm gonna dive into that later once we actually get to the topic. But man, I'm super excited about Mario Brothers 35. That looks awesome.
It'll be super interesting.
So for me personally, I think the presentation was fantastic overall. First of all, obviously the biggest highlight for me was the announcement of the 3D All Stars collection. I feel like that's everybody's, but that's not a bad thing. But for me, it was mostly because I've been waiting literal years to see Mario Galaxy as a remastered release on the Switch. Proxus probably knows what I'm talking about because we've talked about this before. But
we have over the past 3, 4, 5 years in every discussion it's been brought up.
Every single discussion, I would always end it with, "Man, I'd love to see Mario Galaxy."
Yeah, I'm just happy it's out so the rumors can stop. It's been happening all summer, dude. All
Exactly.
summer.
And the reason for that is because I personally think that it's Nintendo's greatest 3D Mario game to date, and to see it fully realized through the trailers and stuff that we saw on the Direct nearly almost brought me to tears. I have such a personal connection with that game. I think it's great, and I'm excited to replay it again myself, as well as see others get the chance to play it for the first time as well. 13 years later, which is such a weird number to say. Other than that, though, I think the presentation as a whole was just packed with so much content. I love seeing all the crossovers Nintendo is doing as well between Splatoon, Animal Crossing. I also enjoyed the Mario Kart Live segment, and as of course I just said, I really love that Super Mario Brothers 35 Battle Royale style game. I can't wait to get my hands on that one. And, you know, aside from a few oddities, I think this is the Direct that I've honestly been waiting to see pretty much all year. So, those are, like, pretty much all my thoughts on their Direct. And now that we've gone around the table, we can go ahead and start diving into the bigger, like, more... we can start diving into some of the other highlights here, starting with 3D All-Stars. We're going to go ahead and take a little bit of a deep dive. Honestly, I know there's a little bit of disappointment surrounding the fact that Super Mario Galaxy 2 isn't featured in this collection, but overall, I think I'm pretty satisfied with the offerings that are on the table here. I like that pretty much all of them, except for Mario 64, have been upscaled and upresed to 1080p, as well as seeing them widened, actually. The field of view widened to 16:9 is awesome. I wish they could have done that with Mario 64, but that really isn't too big of a drawback for me. So what did you guys think?
With 3D All-Stars, I kind of like how there's been a really big like fracture in the Nintendo fan base over this whole thing, in terms of because Nintendo's done anniversary collections before, right? Metroid Prime Trilogy, Kirby Anniversary, Superstar, Mario All-Stars for the Wii, and a couple other anniversary collections. But apparently this one, I guess it's maybe because Nintendo's had a slow year this year, this is the one where everyone was like, Nintendo could have done better. I guess I'm just like, I mean, $60 for all three. That's a steal. That's actually a steal.
I agree.
Physically. Because I could go to a game store near my house. Each one individually is basically $60. So I'm pretty hype about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was disappointed that Mario Galaxy 2 wasn't included, only because that's my favorite 3D Mario, but I was disappointed for about 30 seconds before I pre-ordered it. It certainly wasn't, like, I was trying to pre-order it before the trailer was even over. So obviously not a deal breaker by any means. I know some people wanted, like, a full-blown remake of all three games. That's not what we got. I mean, the games look significantly better than they did. Comes with the full soundtrack, and yeah, I mean, getting Super Mario Sunshine on GameCube wasn't exactly cheap, and Mario Galaxy isn't exactly cheap either. So, all three for that price is a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I think so too, especially when you break down that $60 price tag between three games, right? I'm sure pretty much every, self-respecting Nintendo fan would look at a price of Super Mario 64 being playable on Switch for $20. They would look at that and think, oh, well, heck yeah, I'm going to pay $20 for that. So I think that is a really great deal, especially considering they're all three in the same package. And I'm the only thing that I'm a little perplexed about, and I'd like to get you guys' thoughts about this, is the fact that it's seemingly only available until the end of March of 2021. I know there's a couple of theories floating around as to why that might be, but I would like to get you guys' thoughts first on what you think of that in particular.
That seems a little strange. I guess if they're trying to separate them afterwards and charge more for each one, that would make sense on a company standpoint. But it's weird that they're limiting it. It is a while, right? It's March, so that's a fair 6 months to buy the game. If I'm doing math, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
about.
that's right.
Okay, so you have half a year to buy it. But it seems like such a solid pack of games where they should really have it as just a solid standpoint game that people can buy for the console. Because I'm sure it's going to be a top seller. It's 3 games in one, and it's probably going to sell several million copies. So I think if they consider it in that way, they're probably going to make more money off of the pack than they are off of each individual one. But sometimes Nintendo's company decisions are very unique, and sometimes they don't work, but that's my input there.
So with the other, oh, sorry, you can go.
I was just going to say it's really strange, an interesting choice. And my take from it is that they're trying something a little bit different outside of the artificial scarcity, in the sense that instead of putting fewer things on the shelves, they're putting as many things on the shelves as they can for a limited time. That's what I'm taking from it. And I think that it's partially another method to just make sure people are actually buying the game when it comes out, as opposed to waiting on it. But I think at the end of the day, it's probably a different method of artificial scarcity. Or, in this case, not artificial.
Yeah, I mean, it we've seen limited physical editions before. The odd part to me is why take it off the eShop?
Right.
What's the difference? Yeah. The good news is I do think this game is probably, it's going to sell a lot of millions. It's going to sell many, many millions. So, when they do stop, hopefully, the price shouldn't artificially inflate on the second-hand market. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. But, yeah, I just don't understand the logic of not keeping it on the eShop forever.
I fully expect the price to inflate on the secondhand market as soon as they finish, because any Nintendo collection item, just goes through the roof.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be a while before, because it'll probably take totally guessing at this point, obviously, but I'm thinking that Nintendo's going to work pretty hard to make sure that it remains on shelves and available at least through the holiday season. And then I'm guessing that it'll probably be available for a bit after March, just as they sell through the rest of the stock, just because that's how it's been. But also, they've never done this before, where they've given a hard deadline that's only 6 months out. So it's hard to say.
It's already
eventually,
kind of
definitely.
The price of it. If anybody's
it's
looked
still
on
in
eBay,
stock everywhere.
Yeah, it is
for some reason, but it's still in stock everywhere. So I don't think anyone's actually paying that. People are just jumping the gun on trying to scalp it for some reason.
Yeah, there's I saw a copy that was going for I think $1,000 solid. I don't know why the person decided to do that, but
wait, a copy of what?
Super Mario 3D All Stars. It's in stock everywhere
Ooh.
still, but somebody's trying to sell it for $1,000. Why?
Weird.
Yeah, and plus it'll be available digitally for this full time too. So there's really, unless you need that box, you can get it without paying the markup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple thoughts on the limited time thing. So for one, like what Stealth said, it is weird that they are removing it completely from the eShop, which also kind of brings up the whole discussion of digital games and having a company that can just take something away from the marketplace in general. So now it's if I have 3D All Stars on my Switch, then they take it away from the eShop. Now all of a sudden my account is like valuable because I have 3D All Stars digitally on my account. It's like kind of how with like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game, right? You can't find that anywhere, but if you have a PS3 with that game on it, then all of a sudden that's like insanely valuable,
True.
right? So that is weird that they're making that a digital download type of thing. When, for example, Metroid Prime Trilogy, they put that on the Wii U eShop, and that was just there. So it's like, I don't know why they couldn't just have the physical version limited and not the digital version. But also, in terms of the physical version, these are the best, dare I say, best 3D Mario games ever created, or best Mario games ever created. So if you don't have this game in any capacity by March 31st, you didn't want it. Or either way, you couldn't get it, but it's like if you had a Switch and you knew it existed and you don't have it by then, you just didn't want it. That's like one of my harsh thoughts on that.
I was kind of thinking the same thing, because I was like, obviously I still think it's an odd choice to discontinue it entirely, and honestly I think there's probably something more going on in the background than we're led to believe, but I think by March 2021, pretty much everyone that wants the collection will likely already have it. And I personally am going to be day one, like most of us here, playing those copies and playing through those games again. And by the time March 2021 rolls around, I feel like we're probably going to be seeing them offered as a separate package, each individually on the eShop and maybe physically.
Yeah.
I don't know about physically, but
So what I was thinking with that is, so we don't really have any N64, or if we do, there's like, I think Doom 64. I'm not sure if that counts though. Maybe.
Yeah.
But we hardly have any N64 games. There's no GameCube and no Wii games on the Switch.
don't
yet.
remind me.
So this might be their way of being like, hey, we can do it. So maybe next year they're gonna be like, oh, by the way, first Wii game to come to the Switch, Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Oh,
Virtual
man.
Console. We're gonna start inching these games out.
That would be
and that's gonna be their way to do that, maybe. And then they're gonna start doing like N64, GameCube, Wii, Virtual Console with like Nintendo Switch Online or something. That's my guess, and I've also seen other people hypothesizing that as well.
Yeah. Interesting.
I think my hopes are a little less high, just in terms of how quickly they've moved or not moved on virtual console type games in the Switch generation. I think that they're probably, if I had to guess, they're probably going to move them to individual eShop titles after March. Although I still do find it perplexing why they wouldn't say that at this point and say, instead of saying just it won't be available after March, why not say they'll be available separately after March in the eShop or something to that extent?
Right.
It's all
It makes it
marketing.
feel very, it is all marketing, and it I think is not super consumer friendly. They're teetering on the not super friendly side right now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of comparisons to the Disney Vault over the past couple days, and I don't think that's entirely off base.
No, and I'm a known Disney apologist too, but but I don't know. I don't really want Nintendo to turn into the Disney Vault.
I would say
and
it's
also
kind
on-
of comparable.
oh, yeah.
It's probably comparable to the NES Classic or the SNES Classic,
Yeah.
where it was like available for like a year or so. They didn't really do that many reprints, I think. And if you got it, you got it.
There wasn't a hard deadline set for that, was there?
No,
No,
and
there wasn't.
They reprinted once, I think.
Yeah.
And then right afterwards, that's when they made SNES, NES Online. And then people who have it, they're just looking at it like, I guess I just own this now.
It's a
And then they
paperweight.
could just play those same games for the most part on their Switch, minus a couple other exclusive titles that are still on those specifically. But
True. Especially this console generation, I feel like Nintendo has an odd relationship with legacy software.
I think it's part
And
of their
also-
marketing plan for the, to make sure that their IPs are valued higher. They're taking the Disney approach because it's worked for Disney.
True.
It has.
I mean, and clearly it's working
And
for this
also,
game too. It's #1 on every Amazon store right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
I saw
100%,
that
yeah.
yesterday. That is crazy. I mean, not surprising, but crazy that it skyrocketed that quickly.
Pure platforming
Yeah.
goodness, man.
It's gonna
also,
stay
like-
popular.
Mm-hmm.
Probably throughout March.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine it not.
And also one thing we mentioned too is in terms of like Nintendo having buying incentive for people to get this game even before the deadline. Even before the end of the year, in fact, they have the pins. So one of the missions is just to own 3D All-Stars in some capacity, digital or physical, if you want those Super Mario pins, like the first wave of them.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
They're gonna get sold out quickly though.
Well,
Like, I'm sure, given how many
Worried.
people already have the game pre-ordered, probably a day, maybe 2 days before all the pins are gone. Just a guess.
don't do this to me.
fingers crossed. Oh.
All right. Well, I guess that kind of concludes our 3D All-Star segment here. We're going to go ahead and move on to 3D World and Bowser's Fury. Now, I honestly didn't... this might be a little bit of a controversial opinion. I didn't love 3D World. There were certain aspects of it that I really, really enjoyed, one of which being the soundtrack. That soundtrack pops off. But
Amazing.
other than that, I don't really think I have too much of an attachment to this game. I do find the Bowser's Fury announcement to be pretty interesting, actually, especially for the speculative aspect of it, because I've seen a lot of people debating about whether or not it's like a reskin of the same content, similar to Super Luigi U. I've seen people say that it's going to be a full-on story expansion, and I've also seen people say that this alludes in some way to Bowser being playable in 3D World. So, being that I don't really have too many thoughts beyond that, I'll go ahead and pass that question over to you guys. What did you guys think about the 3D World announcement?
I'm pretty excited about it. It's funny, I tweeted about it, how, like, this announcement might have been the one that, I thought about the most. I really did like 3D World. I feel like it suffered being on the Wii U and also being the game to follow Super Mario Galaxy 2. I think people at the time really wanted Super Mario Galaxy 3 or something similar to that.
Yeah.
And this was very different. So I think, now that all the 3D Mario games basically are on Switch, I think people will be a lot kinder to it. And, also the fact that, it's not just a straight port of the game. They sped up the game. I think Game Explain kind of estimated it at like 20 to 30%. They sped up the game. I think there's also a new move. And, so they definitely made, quality of life updates to the game, not to mention that there's actually online multiplayer, which is huge. So they made the base game better. We don't know what else they added. I would be surprised if they didn't add a new character.
Oh, true.
And yeah, I mean, Bowser's Fury, I guess we're assuming that it's being developed by the same 3D Mario team, which in itself is pretty exciting to see what they do. Kind of revisiting this. So yeah, I'm very excited about this one.
Absolutely. I'm really excited about that expansion because it looks very, like, based on the small clip that we did get, very dark, very gloomy, and almost at odds with the rest of 3D World, because that game is a very bright, colorful, vibrant sort of game. And,
The Bowser areas in that game look really dope, actually. I love the Bowser areas.
Yeah. And I do appreciate some of the quality of life improvements that you were talking about as well, Stealth. Most notably, the speed increase, because that is something that I do remember playing 3D World for the first time, thinking to myself, like, man, it takes a long time for me to actually build up enough speed to actually begin the running animation. So I'm excited to see exactly how that will impact gameplay overall for 3D World. And of course, all the other small additions that they could possibly add is also very exciting.
So I have a couple personal theories based off nothing but my own wacky imagination on Bowser's Fury. The graphics for Bowser's Fury, the little bit that we saw where it's just stormy and rainy and like the trees are blowing in the wind, and the graphics in that kind of look like similar to how New Donk City looked on the first time when you land there. kind of how it's stormy and raining there. It almost looks like the Odyssey engine a little bit to me. So maybe like there was a little bit of a graphical upgrade for that part of the game.
Oh, maybe.
So maybe it's like 100% totally different experience completely. And also it looks very open. So either it's an open area that leads to individual levels, kind of like how the maps are in 3D World, where it's just like an open space that go to the different areas, or it's just one huge area like a Mario Odyssey Kingdom. And it has just the 3D World gameplay elements in it with the cat suit.
Yeah, I think that actually makes a lot of sense because the size of Bowser's Fury and 3D World is like 4 gigs, where it was originally like 1 gig, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So I think like it's a substantial difference between the Wii U version and Switch.
Yeah. And if it is open world and it's the 3D World engine, that means it'll just be an open world co-op Mario area. So that'll just be really fun to explore like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more information on that. The fact that they said February 12th, I was just like, oh, wow, that's a ways away. I did not expect that. So we have something to look forward to for next year for sure.
Absolutely. Sorry, I was taking a drink of water. Anybody else have any other thoughts on 3D World before we move on?
I'll validate your opinion and say that I have the same one, and that I just I recognize that it's a great game. I finished it and I enjoyed it, but it's just not the style of Mario game that I prefer to play. So it felt overshadowed by just the looming announcement of All Stars shortly after. But
yeah, I mean, I definitely think now that like all the Mario 3D styles are on Switch, people might be kinder to it.
yeah, I think the improvements are going to help a lot for me at least. The speed is going to make a big difference for how much I enjoy it. So I'm really looking forward to playing it on the Switch.
Yeah, I mean,
for sure.
online multiplayer will make this a fun Twitch game.
That's going to be great.
Right, yeah, because I've also only ever played it alone. So that'll probably help.
Awesome.
Yeah, one thing with me with like all of these Wii U ports essentially coming over to Switch updated is I already 100% 3D World on the Wii U. And even though it was 7 years ago, Jesus Christ, even though it was that long ago, I didn't really want to get this game until the incentive of Bowser's Fury was dangled in my face, and I was like, dang, I want to check that out. So it's like I might, because I need it for the pins too, because I know they're going to do that. So I'm just like, But, I mean, with the updates, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a great time regardless. That is a very fun game. I enjoyed my time with it. Like I said, I 100%ed it. But, yeah, kind of similar to like Captain Toad when it came to Switch. I already played it. I enjoyed it, but I didn't want to double dip. But, I mean, if I have to, I will. So,
If it's for the pins, it's worth it.
if it's for the pins.
One last thing I'll say before I move on is I super appreciate what you said about the Nintendo Fangirl, because I always feel like I'm in the minority when it comes to my opinion on 3D World. And you know, as much as I realize it's a great game, it just didn't click for me for some reason in the original release. So I will say that I'm definitely going to be giving it another try once it hits the Switch next year, and I'm excited to do so. So just gonna put that out there so I don't anger any 3D World fans out there as well at the same time. But anyways, with that said, we'll go ahead and move on to the next portion of the Direct here, which was the reveal of Super Mario Brothers 35. And I know I mentioned this earlier, but I'm really freaking excited about this game. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. The only thing I hope for this game, I know I'm gonna love it, but the only thing I can think of that would really just be the icing on the cake would be the ability to open up custom lobbies similar to Tetris 99.
Ooh, yeah.
So I could do like challenges with my friends, or like, you know, just having that ability to have my own little group put together with in the realm of Super Mario 35, I think would be really, really cool. But again, the really strange decision of making this only available until March 2021 is really, really odd to me, because this definitely strikes me as a game that even like 5 years from now, I could expect myself to be still playing. More than Tetris 99, I feel like I would definitely have a lot of playtime in this as opposed to Tetris, because I'm horrible at Tetris. And, you know, truth be told, I'm not actually the best at 2D Mario either, but I could see myself having a lot more fun with this title as opposed to Tetris 99. And the fact that it's only going to be available for about 6 months really kind of puts a damper on things, but either way, I'm going to be one of the first ones through the gate on October getting my hands on it. But what did you guys think about Mario 35?
I am, I'm disappointed that this has a timestamp on it, considering that this could just be slapped with the Nintendo Switch Online exclusive thing like Tetris 99 was. And then, if they did everything they did with Tetris 99 with Mario 35, and we had, like, special exclusive, like, DLC for, like, cosmetics for, like, different skins and stuff like that for it, that would have been great. Like, they could go, like, Mario Maker with it.
I was thinking that.
And they could have it where, like, a character replaces Mario, and it's, like, a whole bunch of different things like that. That would be sick, bro. There's so much they could do with 35.
What the heck?
And I am just like, why limited time this out of everything that was in the Direct?
I didn't even consider that.
Yeah, the opportunities are limitless.
Gosh.
It just makes it more disappointing that it's limited.
Right. I can only hope that if this game gets all of the love and support that it deserves, assuming that it's good, which I am assuming at this point, perhaps it could be something like the Splatfest where they end it when they intend to end it, but bring it back at times, or they see that it's being actively played and decide to support it for longer. Mm-hmm. I think probably the reason it's limited is because they don't want to support it for longer. They just want it to be a fun little freebie for right now, but
for the 35th anniversary
maybe
thing, yeah.
if we can convince them.
See, the weird thing about it...
I mean, I'll pay for DLC
Me
for
too.
it, if there's cute
That's
DLC.
exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say that this is a title that I would definitely lay down money for if that's like a thing that would convince them to keep it going for longer.
Yeah.
I would totally lay down some money for that.
Yeah, Tetris 99 got paid DLC, and it's still being supported. They're able to do cross promotions with it, I think, partly. It's the reason that they've continued it so long. But it is really disappointing that this is only available for 6 months, and I hope that Nintendo reconsiders and puts it on longer.
It's a shame, too, because the crossover content for Tetris 99 thus far has been fantastic.
It's amazing.
And I can only imagine what it would be like for 35.
People surge into that game whenever they add new stuff.
Yeah. But either way, though, I think I'm really going to enjoy my time with it, and especially if they add the ability, like, or maybe not add the ability, but if it comes included with the ability to have custom lobbies and stuff like that, I think it's going to make for a really fun single-player game as well as a really fun game to play with friends as well.
It's going to be a great game to stream, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People going for those Mario 35 crowns, or whatever they're going to be called.
Don't even get me started on crowns, dude. So, the next game on our docket here is going to be Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. And I'm kind of curious to see what you guys think first. So I'll go ahead and pass the mic over to you guys for first one this time. What did we all think about Mario Kart Live Home Tour or Home Circuit?
If I was in middle school, bro, I would eat this up. I would go crazy for this. But I'm 26 and I don't have enough space in my house.
Yeah, I mean,
So
this isn't something I'm interested in, but I can definitely see the holiday appeal for parents with kids who just need a gift that, maybe isn't specifically a video game. I guess this is, but this is gonna be just a very hot holiday item.
See,
the tech, if anything, intrigues me more than anything.
I'm
honestly.
of two minds about this, about what you said, Stealth, because I feel like on one hand, there are some parents that are watching that like, oh my gosh, that's a great gift idea, like a good stocking stuffer. And there's the other parents that are like, great, now I'm going to have racetracks all over the house. I'm going to get to vacuum, everything's going to be the way.
The house pets are going to love it.
Oh, for sure.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Or hate it. One or the other.
Have your own Bowser's Castle obstacles with the dog.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I don't think this is gonna sell that well. I think it's gonna have a bump for the holidays, and I think it's gonna end up on clearance like Labo kits, essentially, because it's gonna take up a lot of shelf space. I have concerns about the broader appeal for this one, and like others in our age category, I just don't have space for it. It's really cool in concept, but
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of people that it doesn't work for.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
definitely
it's
got a
like
younger
complicated.
audience.
Setup.
Go ahead.
It is kind of it is kind of complicated to actually get it set up because you need a Switch for each car.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, even if you're playing on TV mode, you can't have multiple cards connected to one Switch. And so, I think the amount of families that have, 2 Switches for one for each of their kids, and can pay $100 for each of the home circuit sets, I think it's going to be really limited in that sense. But at the same time, I'm also really excited to see what people come up with the building their own courses and everything like that.
Yeah, I think also to kind of add on to what PushDustIn was saying, I think honestly this is going to be something that I'm going to kind of sit on the sidelines and watch what other people make with these. And kind of going off what the NintendoFanGirl said as well, I don't know if I necessarily see the broader appeal of this, especially beyond Christmas, because at $99 per cart, I don't know if I would be willing to spend that much, especially considering I don't really have the most room in my house to begin with. So I don't know. It's like, even adding on to that, like you said as well, the shelf space required to house these things, like, I don't know. I don't necessarily see it hitting too much beyond holiday season, but I will say the technology behind it is actually really, really cool. I remember watching it myself and thinking like, wow, that would go really well with like the steering wheel, like the Wii wheels. I'm sure there's a peripheral that exists like that out there somewhere for the Switch.
Yep, there's an official one.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it, but I've had a feeling there was one of those out there. And I know it's probably not a possibility, but I was like, my mind was just reeling watching that trailer, thinking like having that in combination with like maybe like the Labo VR just would create the most insane,
that'd be incredible.
like just level of immersion that I haven't seen in Mario Kart before. And
Just being like 2 inches
it's just
tall.
a shame that you need that much space in order to set it up. I don't know if I'm going to be getting it. I highly doubt I will. But even if I did, I don't really have that much room, much like all you guys have said as well, to set it up anyway.
Yeah,
the space
So
is
I'm
such a
super
huge
curious.
deterrent to it. Like in the trailer, they showed this giant open floor plan where the couch was like right in the middle of the room.
Yeah, whose house is built like that?
Really strange. No one decorates the room like that. But they had all of this room and empty space to just build this track. But most people, you can barely walk around your house without like bumping into stuff. Of course, a lot of people know how to decorate properly and don't have that issue. But it's hard to like maximize space, not only for like your couch, for TV, all the other stuff you need in your house, and then also maximize it for a racetrack. You don't really
See,
consider
I could see
that.
this being a really cool idea if they like. I'm looking forward to seeing how limited the tech is, to where this would have been a great idea if they were like, "Yo, you could use this in your house, but also it could work outside."
Yeah.
So I'd be like, "This at the park would have been amazing," or this like, yeah, that would have
Yeah, I
been
mean,
great.
if this like functionality were part of like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I might be more receptive to like trying it out. Whereas where I wouldn't need to buy like a new game, I could just kind of pick up the accessories to go along with it. But as it stands, I'm gonna be on the sideline for this one too.
That actually is a good point too, because that would also, I'd imagine, work well to lower the price as well, because it wouldn't be including a game. So, I mean, theoretically, those figures would probably come down to something like 30, 40, as opposed to 100 plus.
The package doesn't even include the game; it's a free download.
Oh,
Yeah, it's gonna be like a something that's on
it's
the
just a
eShop
download.
probably.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just a download.
interesting.
So the $100 is just for the cart, the markers, and the gates.
Dang. Wow. Well, thank you for that little bit of input. I wonder if do we know? This is just out of my own curiosity. How big that's gonna be? Like the file size?
How big the cart? Probably not too big. I can find out.
Okay. That's just my own curiosity. I don't really think it matters too much. But yeah, Mario Kart Home Circuit looks really, really cool. I feel like I think it looks cool, if only for the fact of the tech behind it. I'm not really entirely sold on it myself.
It actually sold out on the My Nintendo store.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's kind of a surprise.
Those Nintendo families, man.
In Japan at least. And I'm surprised about that because Japanese houses are smaller.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. There's less space.
Yeah.
Huh.
One thing I do say, like I remember you said, David, about using it outside. I'd be concerned about beating it up and like the wear and tear about using
Right.
it on
Oh, how
pavement.
durable the cart is, right?
Dirt in the wheels.
Dirt in the wheels, rocks, that kind of thing.
It says you need a 1.1 gigabyte for the game.
Oh, that's
at
not
least.
bad.
I imagine that they would also release new carts later down the line, like with Peach and Daisy.
If
of
it takes
course.
off correctly, yeah.
Yeah.
It all depends on how many people buy it and how like often they play it. Because if people buy it, play it once, twice, and then just put it down and never play it again, which happens with a lot of like toys and games like this.
Yeah.
One final thought I do have about this, though, is I do feel like it's an interesting evolution of the Toys to Life idea, and definitely one of the best iterations of it so far. Because the figures actually have a place in the physical world, and they actually like do something as opposed to just unlocking digital content in a game.
Yeah, definitely.
So, anyway, moving right along, this is going to be the next one here. So, honestly, I don't really have too many thoughts on this one, but I do think it's really cool, and that is the Game & Watch Mario Brothers edition. Now, I never grew up with Game & Watch. I don't really have too much familiarity with Game & Watch outside of Smash Brothers, but one thing I do think that's really, really cool about this is that it's its own little, like, basically LCD display in a little tiny console. On top of that, it's only $50. I remember when I was watching the Direct live, I was thinking like, wow, well, this is cool and all, but it's probably going to be somewhere around 100, 150. You know, I was thinking somewhere.
Yeah, I was like,
somewhere
easy.
in the triple digits, right? But just to see the price at only $50, which, mind you, is less than a normal priced Switch game, I think that's really,
amazing.
really cool. I just hope that there's enough printing of this particular system to go around, because I think it would make a really cool little collector's item for me, especially considering all the other stuff that I have around my house that is Nintendo memorabilia. Not like I need any more, but at least it opens the gate up for that. So I'm pretty excited about it. And what did you guys think about the Game & Watch Mario Brothers edition?
I thought
First
it was...
thing I thought is, oh yeah, you can go.
Okay. I thought it was kind of weird that they didn't include the Mario Bros. Game & Watch game, actually. Because I felt like that would have been really, really perfect. And I don't think it's been ported that much compared to Ball. But besides that, I'm actually really surprised that they included both the original and the second Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. So I'm really excited for it, and I pre-ordered it, and I'm sure I love it and have it on my desk all the time.
Yeah, it's definitely a neat little like just thing to have on you, you know, like to keep on your desk, as you said. I'll definitely want to pick it up, at least for that aspect of it. What were you thinking, David?
For me, in terms of like, it's a cool collectible item, but like, well, the first thing that went through my head is like, there's only so many ways Nintendo can get me to play the first two Super Mario Brothers games. Like, there's only so many ways. Like, then later in the show, they were like, oh, you can also play it on your Switch today on the Super Mario All-Stars collection. So I'm just like, yeah, I personally, I'm okay on it, but I do love how it looks, considering that the last time we got a physical Game & Watch thing was like, what was it, the Club Nintendo thing with Ball just on it?
Yeah, I remember something about that.
Yeah. So this is like a huge jump from that. And Ball is also on this, so that's really cute.
They also have those really neat like clocks or whatever. I might be the only one that thinks those are
with all, like,
interesting.
35
but
touches on it.
I think the clocks with the themes and stuff are pretty cool too.
Him Explain's gonna have a fun time figuring out all those Easter
True.
eggs.
What were you gonna say, Proxton?
It's nice, and like I'm definitely gonna buy it just for the, I guess, I don't want to say nostalgia because I never had a Game & Watch. I'm not that old, but it's cool because it's like a handheld console remade, and you have a couple games on it, and that's fun. But I feel like the more important thing, it might be like a prelude to a future like handheld console remake where you have a couple games on it and just are able to play through those. Because I know I would love a Game Boy, like a Game Boy Color with a couple of the key games on there just to play through those. That'd be
You
incredible.
stop right now, mister. Don't you get my hopes
Game
up.
Boy Classic.
I mean, it's possible. Nothing's impossible.
You know, I was thinking the same thing about
Unlikely-
Galaxy for 3 years, so anything is possible.
Yeah, just give it 3 more years and we'll have the Game Boy Color remake.
Oh, man.
I'm just like, give us another one of these with all the Game & Watch galleries on it. I would love that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm definitely gonna get it as a collector's item, but like I'm already thinking about like, can I find an acrylic stand, something where I can just have it propped up on my desk? And I'd really like to know if I can keep the clock up passively, because I will use it as a clock.
Yeah, me too. Oh my god, somebody.
It would be really
If it's like a
cute,
watch
else,
battery,
thank
that'd be
you.
dope.
right? I don't know what the battery situation is, but I mean, even if it's only for the background of videos or something,
Ooh,
it looks
Yeah, good
nice.
point.
I do want to get some kind of an acrylic stand or something for it.
please let me know if you can find one of
It
those.
does charge by USB-C.
Ooh,
Oh,
there
cool.
you go.
So
Very
It's
nice.
possible.
There you
So-
go.
I'm also excited for the homebrew aspect of it.
Mm,
To see what people will do with it.
yeah,
Wondering how bright that back screen's gonna be, or if it's gonna have
it
a
can't be
dimmer
worse
switch
than
on
an
it.
SP, right?
Yeah,
I feel like the SP's like at least the bare minimum of what you would need for a
or just a DS with the brightness all the way up, maybe.
maybe. I haven't used
Or
the DS
halfway.
in so long. I used my SP more recently, oddly enough. All right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up most of the big highlights from the presentation overall. I just have a few closing remarks before we wrap up our show here. The first one of which is going to be, do we think 3D All-Stars is Nintendo's big holiday titles, or do we perhaps think that there are more on the way that we maybe don't know about?
I do tend to lean toward there being another game in November. Obviously, you know, Nintendo isn't afraid to announce the game and then have it be out 2 weeks later, so I don't think it's too late for them to announce anything. You know, I don't think it's too late for another announcement. I
Right.
mean, I'd be shocked if there was nothing released in November.
Yeah, because there is that big November chunk of time slot that's just got nothing in it, really. I guess you could include
Yeah,
the
they gotta
Pokemon
have that
DLC,
Thanksgiving
but
game.
I don't really think that's going to be positioned as the big holiday title. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because beyond 3D All Stars, all we have left for the rest of the year is what? Pikmin 3?
Pikmin
3 and,
yeah.
and maybe Smash Brothers DLC if there is any for, you know, the fall.
Mm-hmm.
I still think we're getting another Zelda title. I'm gonna hold to that. I don't know what it is, but it'll be something. Not Breath of the Wild 2. Something else.
Triforce Heroes. Triforce Heroes.
See?
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
man, I feel like Triforce Heroes
That's
is
the
such an
spirit.
underrated
Yeah,
title.
it needs
It
another
really
shot.
does.
Especially with Switch, with multiplayer right on the Switch. It would work
I
so
loved
well.
Triforce Heroes.
Either that, or we just get a Switch remake of Four Sword Adventures,
Oh, yeah.
a la Crystal Chronicles, but done a little bit better.
If that were to happen, this would really be the
Yes.
year of ports, wouldn't it?
I'm fine
I'm
with
fine
that.
with that too. I think that's totally
They
doable.
should just do a remake of the Oracle's games in the style of Awakening, like in the Awakening
Ooh,
remake.
that'd be clean.
Ooh, another hot take. Never played the Oracle's games.
Neither have I, but I've heard a lot of good things
Same.
about
Link's
them.
Awakening
They're
was
very,
actually
very
the
good.
first
So
3D
good.
Zelda game I've ever played.
If we're getting any remake, I would like to request Minish Cap. I think that would
Oh,
also work
that's a
in the
good
Link's
one.
Awakening remake style.
Finish Cap. Is that the one for
Game Boy Advance.
Game Boy
Game Boy
Advance?
That was
Yeah,
one for
yeah,
Game Boy
yeah.
Advance, yeah. Partially made by Capcom, I think.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
actually,
Yeah.
the director of that game, Fujibayashi, is now at Nintendo, who's directing Breath of the Wild.
Oh,
Man, I want to know more about Breath of the Wild.
give me that.
Yeah, who knows when we're gonna
Maybe-
get word on that again.
I think
I'm
Breath of the
saying
Wild
Zelda's
will.
35th is next year.
Yeah, I think it'll be next year for Breath of the Wild too.
I hope so.
Which is interesting because I was thinking early next year, but now with Mario wrapping up in March, I wonder if they're going to keep that first chunk of the year for Mario.
Yeah, that might be like the beefy summer game, if anything, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that they would
Oh,
release
speaking of-
Breath of the Wild 2 near the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X release.
That's smart. It'd be a good
Wait,
like.
wait, steal the
You
spotlight.
don't
good way to
need an
compete.
Xbox. You
Could
don't
you
need a
imagine how much the
PS5. Just
Oh,
get
you-
Breath of the Wild 2.
Could you imagine how much the fans would just go crazy if they were like, oh, by the way, Breath of the Wild in like a week? Or like, in like a month. And I'd be like,
Freak out.
Mention it the day before.
Well,
my gosh.
speaking of Zelda, this is actually a really good transition into this next one. So, considering that we have all of these 3D Mario events expiring in March of next year, how likely do you think it will be that we'll see a similar celebration for Zelda's 35th next year?
they got something cooking. They can't not.
I think there'll be something, but I do think that although Zelda is probably, I would say, equally beloved, I think it has less of the mascot aspect. And so I would not be surprised if the celebration was more contained in some form of a smaller release. I don't know. It's hard to say at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
I would love something of this size. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna celebrate it with games, but they don't really do like the kind of hardware items, products like they do with Mario. Like, there's no gonna be like Zelda figure that's part of a game or anything like that. It'll be contained to like ports and maybe a new game.
Yeah.
I think
I think the last time
Hyrule Warriors 2 would be really cool if they did that for
Ooh.
The Zelda 35th. And then I could see them releasing like an exclusive like Joy-Con, Zelda themed Joy-Con or something like that. They've always done, as Stealth said, they've always done something kind of different for Zelda, and especially with Mario and Zelda being back to back, I don't think they're going to do the same thing that they did with Zelda for Mario. It would be kind of redundant.
Yeah, I think so.
They should
too.
do a 2-pack instead of a
remember-
3-pack, but the 2-pack is
Yeah.
with, sorry, my brain farted. Majora's Mask and Ocarina of
Ocarina of
Time.
Time.
That'd be interesting.
That would be. I don't really think I'm kind of a similar mindset to pretty much everybody here. I don't know if we would see something to the same magnitude as Mario 35th, but I think we should definitely be on the lookout for something. And all my years of campaigning for Mario Galaxy are now being transitioned to getting Twilight Princess HD on Switch. So I'm going to be focusing all my
Yes.
energy into that next year and seeing if I can wish it into existence. Man, what it would be to have Mario
You sound
Galaxy
like Wind
and
Waker
Twilight
HD,
Princess on the
Twilight
same
Princess HD.
on my same Switch. That would be amazing. But yeah, I'm kind of on the same opinion where I don't know if it's necessarily going to be, quite the same level, because I don't really feel like Mario is, or I don't feel like Zelda is as much of a household name as Mario is. So
I mean, Nintendo had a year of Luigi before we even had a year of Link, so...
wait, that's actually true. What the heck?
So sad.
I think the last time there was a Zelda anniversary thing that I can remember was when Skyward Sword released, and then for the anniversary, they had the Zelda Orchestra CD bundled in with that to celebrate, and then they also had the tour happening.
Yep.
Man, the Symphony of the Goddesses was so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps our discussion before we get to the outro. Does anybody have any closing thoughts regarding everything that we talked about today?
Nope.
Not really?
It's gonna be a fun next 6 months or so.
Oh my gosh. It's a really great time
Well,
to be a
it's
Nintendo
really
fan.
gonna be a really fun next 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Waiting
Definitely.
anticipation.
There's gonna be... Oh, what game are you guys gonna play first on 3D
Mario
All-Stars?
64.
I'm going
Mario,
chronological.
I'm going chronological. I mean, we're not savages here.
I'm gonna play Sunshine first.
Well, maybe we're mostly not savages, except for Praxton's.
Yeah, I'm the one savage here. I want to play Sunshine because I've never played it, and I've always
that's
wanted
right.
to.
fair.
That's right.
That's fair, yeah.
See, the crazy thing about
My
all this
girlfriend,
discussion
she's-
around 3D All-Stars is I've noticed that the game that people seem to have missed out on the most is probably Mario Sunshine, and I wonder why that is.
Well,
I think it was because it was like a Mario game with that weird hook with Flood, but also it was like, I don't know, around that time I think there was like a weird thing with Mario Sunshine coming out at a weird time when people didn't even really care too much about it, which is why the resale value on that game specifically is so high, because hardly anyone had it.
I'm glad I
guess.
still have my original
Also,
copy.
it wasn't re-released compared to like Mario 64,
That's
which
true.
has been on the Wii and the Wii.
It's been on everything.
and the DS. It had its own.
True.
But also,
Yeah.
the GameCube is the worst selling console of
Yeah.
the three
Yeah,
as
that too,
well.
yep.
So
In my
there's
case,
a bunch
the-
of compounding factors.
For me, it was like the reason I didn't play it is because I didn't have a GameCube, and the only console that, well, rather, the household console at the time for me was the PS2, and they were competing directly. Like it was GameCube versus PS2, right?
Yeah. At the time, I remember when the GameCube and the PS2 were out, it I think was much more uncommon then, or at least it seemed it, for people to have both than it is now for someone to
Yeah.
have like a Switch and a PS4.
Yeah.
Agreed. Man, this is what I'm excited for, to see everybody play some of these games for the first time, more specifically Mario Sunshine, because That one seems to be like the more unique out of the three. Like with the whole flood mechanic, but I'm just excited overall to see everybody playing these games for the first time, because I know I have a couple of friends who haven't played Galaxy for the first time, or Mario Sunshine, and some people that haven't played the original Mario 64 because they grew up with Mario 64 DS. Weird.
Dude, the wholesome moments of like Nintendo parents getting 3D All-Stars and their kids playing 64 for the first time is gonna be so adorable. Just watching them struggle on Bomb Battlefield, fighting King Bob-omb for the first time.
Oh man. All right. Well, I guess we can go ahead and transition to our outro here. And I think that about covers it. So it's honestly so crazy to me when I can wake up in a world now knowing that we're going to be getting nearly every 3D Mario game playable on Switch, and a new Pokemon Snap game is in development for it. And there's still more to come too. So, yeah, lots of awesome stuff to look forward to on the horizon. But before we take off, I do want to, again, give a super big shout out to each and every one of our guests here on the show today. So before I go, I would like to give each of you guys a couple seconds here to promote yourselves if you like, starting with NintendoFanGirl. Go!
Oh, okay. I'm NintendoFanGirl. I have videos on YouTube, and I do live streaming on Twitch. NintendoFanGirl on YouTube. NinFangirl on Twitch, because somebody took my name, and I'm on all of the other social media as NintendoFanGirl.
Sweet. And Proxense?
Hi, Proxense. It's just Proxense on everything except Instagram, because some random person, zero anything, just has Proxense on there. But I do Twitch streams, I do the occasional YouTube video, and more often than not, I will tweet random things on Twitter about bees or Nintendo.
Sweet.
One of the two things.
And PushDustIn.
I'm PushDustIn. I work for Digino Gaming, and I also do translations and news on my main Twitter account, which is PushDustIn.
Awesome. And David?
Hey guys, I am David, and I'm the head of content over at Conmen RDW. That's CONMEN RDW on YouTube and Twitch. And I just make geeky nerdy content for geeky nerdy people, interviews, vlogs, and Twitch streams and stuff like that. So yeah.
Fantastic. And lastly, the man, the myth, the legend, Stealth.
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Stealth40k.
Hey there, and thank you for making it to this point in the video. If you liked what you saw and would like to see more stuff like it, feel free to hit that like button, and if you're a new face around here, hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow, and I'm always open to more people to share my love of video games with. Anyway, that's our show, so again, thank you for tuning in. Feel free to share your thoughts on Mario's 35th anniversary with us down in the comments below, as we'd love to hear from you. And of course, as always, I'm alecandstuff, and I will see you all again very soon. Bye!